Thank you. I mean, we are starting a webinar which happens every Thursday. And today we have a very, very special guest. He's also a dear friend of mine, Mr. Thomas John. So, Thomas is the founder and the CEO of Regula IT Service. This company has been around for a pretty long time, I think more than 20 years now. And he's been to IT service and IT solutions and IT development since the late 90s. That's how far Thomas goes back into tech. He has a long journey. He currently resides in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, and his company is there in Chennai. And he's been working on different technology, uh, you know, with over 300 clients for over 15 countries, and he's a total pro in what he does. Right. In his introduction, he talks about the fact that he started his software engineering back in 1995. That was during when he was in ninth grade. Okay, that is where he actually started programming when he was on ninth grade in 1995. So he basically has seen the entire lifespan of internet, I believe. You know, so I think that there's a wealth of information and knowledge that comes with Thomas, and we are entering into this new era of AI, and it's very interesting to talk to and to learn from people like Thomas to see their perspective, since they have seen the age of internet, the age of web, the age of apps, the age of SaaS, and now we are entering into the age of AI. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Thomas. So Thomas, my friend, please take over and talk a little bit about yourself, and then we'll start the discussions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ritesh. First of all, it's an honor that you have thought of me and invited me to this podcast. So thanks for that first. And uh, you have advised me in the past on sales and marketing. So that's those advices are well taken. I've implemented them, learned a lot from them. So I respect you a lot for the skills that you have. And so once again, thank you for the beautiful words that you also gave me about me. Thank you very much. So background about me, as you said rightly, 1995, a complete accident of getting into software. I had not planned it. My parents had not planned it. So, but one day, one of my friends just told me, "Would you like to attend this extracurricular, class in school, so that you can come along with me, to home?" We both used to ride cycle and go together after the school. And he wanted to join the class, so he would go alone. So he said, "Thomas, can you also stay back, attend this class so that we could go home together?" And that was the only reason why I joined that extracurricular. My dad was so magnanimous. He said, "Okay, go ahead," and he asked me to join. And that accident, I would say, that my friend brought me into has literally changed my life. So I fell in love with, I was just an average, below average student in studies, but the moment I got into computers, understood the world of logic, understood that, there is a world where yes is a yes and no is a no. There is a black and there's a white, and there's nothing gray. That world really excited me, and I happened to be the second topper in that particular extracurricular class, and that gave me a lot of moral boost, I would say, and it also helped me to focus on my academics, which I was not doing until then. I was very below average student, playing a lot. So that changed my life. And then I fell in love with programming. I kept learning programming. After GW Basic was my first programming language that I learned. And then I did C, C++, Java. Then went on to study various other programming languages like Python, databases, and all of that. And by God's grace, I would say in 2011, when some of my friends in the industry saw me making certain tools, software tools, they started referring some clients to me. And I honestly never thought I would run a software company, because software was always a hobby for me. It was like a pet dog, something that I love to cuddle, play with, create some tools. That's how it's always been. And uh, I've never thought, software would become my major career. But when I saw what I could create was useful for some companies and they valued it. And in fact, the first software that I created in 2011 for a retail chain here in Chennai, 14 years later, they're still using that software. So that these, you know, experiences that I had with those few initial clients gave me the confidence that yes, I think the love, the passion that I have towards software is actually translating into something useful for people. You know, what more do you
Understood.
need? You know, what more
Yeah.
satisfaction can you get when something that you create is actually used by someone and they love it and it's solving their problems, it's helping them improve their business. So that's how the journey started back in 2011, and of course, the journey has been awesome. A lot of ups
Perfect.
and downs. Yeah,
Perfect. All right, so let's jump right into the topic for the day,
yeah,
Thomas,
yeah,
which is customer care and AI.
yes,
I have already spoken to the tech leaders on this subject. There is a lot going on in
absolutely.
this particular subject, and I have a lot of questions from both from the technical point of view as well as from the use case point.
Yeah,
Uh, it'll be great to start from use cases, right?
definitely. Yeah,
So we'll start from use cases, and I'm going to talk some of the use cases that I have seen other people work.
yeah,
You can feel free to talk about your use cases as well. The use cases that you are building. If you want to show something, go ahead and do that. We are really interested, and people are really interested in use cases.
yeah,
How can we use AI for customer care without losing the customer, the human touch? I think
yeah,
that's the question that is coming up. I have worked with companies who have completely replaced human beings with AI, and then they have to come back to,
yeah, yeah.
hiring human beings. And these are news coming up. And I've seen
Absolutely,
that with my own eyes. You cannot completely 100% replace human beings. At the same time, you cannot go on what was working 10 years back, right? You have
absolutely.
to move on in the journey. So I think there's a tug of war going on with
Yeah,
respect to what humans can do and what AI can do and where humans fit and where AI fit,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
let's talk more about it. So let's start from the use case. Can you talk about the use case that you are currently building or you have built for your
yeah,
customer, and then we'll pick up from there.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, one of the projects that we are working on currently is something that the market calls a CRM. Okay. And when you think of it, it might appear, okay, that's a software that's predictable. I know what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
around for 30, 40 years now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now the client for whom we are working for, they are, building the same CRM. Okay. When you look at it, it looks exactly the same. But what we are adding to it is the intelligence element, the AI that we say, which does all the heavy lifting in the back end. So certain scenarios I'll tell you. For example, lead scoring, okay, based on certain algorithms. Okay, now we can fine tune those algorithms. For example, certain categories of businesses, certain industries of businesses, AI can identify as appropriate or being highly appropriate for the product or service that they are giving. And even based on the current trend in the market, it can score that particular lead as quite high. Okay, which was not possible few years back.
Can you
Okay,
talk? Can you talk a little bit about what was possible a few years back? Because I know I'm
yeah,
a CRM expert
yeah,
myself,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and I worked with Salesforce and HubSpot and SAPs, and I
absolutely.
understand this very well. But for the
Yeah,
people who are new to this,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure most of the people understand what CRM is, right?
yes,
Many of the people, especially the business owners, they know the
yeah,
basic
yeah,
concept of CRM, where you manage the lead and the pipeline and the deals,
absolutely,
and there were traditional ways of doing things. And lead scoring
absolutely,
has been there since the time the CRM was built, right?
absolutely.
But it
Yeah,
was very manual and it was
correct,
very limited. So
correct.
can you talk
Exactly.
about things that were done, that were being done 5 years back
Yeah,
first, and then we'll talk about how you're doing things right now.
yeah, absolutely. See, 5 years back, it was more about how to make an individual more productive. Okay, that was the focus. If I can use a piece of paper or a book and manually make about so many calls and follow-ups and keep up with my inquiries, how can I use a system to make it faster, to make it
For the
efficient.
sales rep.
Yeah, for the sales rep, I'm saying. Yeah, one of the applications. Okay. So that was the focus 5 years back. Okay. How can I make this person a superhuman? Okay. Today, with the advent of AI, it is not just making a person a superhuman. There is a superhuman sitting in front of you also partnering along with you. So that is the shift. Okay. So to keep it very simple, I'm not trying to go too technical. I'm saying very simple. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
partnering along with
So
a superhuman. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I will share my own experience working with Salesforce and HubSpot. You know, typically, when it comes to lead scoring and lead qualification, people like us, on the back end, sales enablers and marketing guys, we used to basically put up the scores. Hey, if it comes from this country, you know,
Yeah.
if it belongs to certain industry, or you know, and if this person is a CXO or belong to certain department, then we used to assign points. Right? If it belongs to
Then,
certain region, say North America, then 20 points. If
yeah.
the person is a CXO, then another 30 points.
Yeah.
And if they belong to the right kind of industry, another 20 points. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if they have visited I mean, later on in last few years, we added behavioral data also, because that was no. So if
Yeah.
they have come down to the website and if they have clicked on certain pages, then another 5 points. If they have downloaded the case study, another 2 points. If they've opened an email, another 5 points. So initially it was demographic and firmographic data in terms of lead scoring. Then with the advent of advanced analytics and CDPs and the warehouse being connected to CRM, it was also behavioral data. For example, if they have interacted with our website, if they've opened up our email, if they have replied to our email, if they have downloaded a certain step, and like so on. So even the behavioral data started going in.
Going
But
on. Absolutely.
we're still talking about 5 years back,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so in that way, the workflow used to run, and we used to set up the workflow, and then
Correct.
assign those points, and the sales rep used to come, as you said, the sales rep used to come, and then just see, hey, this lead is got like 50 points, and this lead
Yeah.
is 10 points. So based on that, I'll assume that the lead with 50 points is more important, right? So I should
Absolutely.
follow up with that more.
Yeah.
It was still a very sales driven initiative, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
CRM and all these all these automations were only there to help the sales rep,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
But this
Absolutely.
is still till 2019 we are talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we are
Absolutely.
living in 2025. So what has
Absolutely.
changed? What has been added on top of
Yeah.
it?
So to keep it simple, what I'll say is, when you started off, you said, as a sales enabler and as an expert who's been like close to 25 years in the industry, now you are able to feed in the algorithm or feed in the pointers for it to start scoring. So we are talking about an expert who has to come in and help the system.
Yeah.
With AI, even an intern without any expert can get that done automatically. So that is what I would say is new today. The I would say the collective intelligence or the collective expert that is there out there, the system is able to bring out through AI. So that is what is today. Yeah. And I'm sure, few years down the line, it will go to another notch where
Yes.
even this person might not need sales skills, and the system is able to take care. So a lot of things are possible in the future, but today this is where we are. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, let's talk a little technical here. When you say that there's an intelligence outside of the system and
Yeah.
outside of the brain of the sales rep and the
Correct.
customer service rep, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a brain out there which was not there,
Yeah.
right? So
Absolutely.
since 5 years back, the brain was not out there. So people like us, people like me
Yes.
used to come in, an expert,
Yeah.
and we used to feed the system.
Correct.
Hey, behave this, behave that, at this point, at that point. And
Yeah.
then eventually that data used to go to the sales rep and the customer service rep to take the decisions, right?
Correct.
But it
Correct.
was people like us feeding that system.
Absolutely.
Now you're saying that we are not required, So essentially,
I've got a
the
point
job,
there.
our
Yeah.
job is gone.
I've got a point there. Yeah. I've got a
Yeah,
point there. Yeah.
please. Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
So see, there are two ways to look at it. Okay. See, for example, even in coding, okay, AI is able to code. In fact, AI is able to collectively code the entire application, including the front end, the back end, the database, the APIs, everything. Okay. So when AI is able to do that, what is a coder's responsibility? A coder can survive with AI only if the coder is an expert. If he is not able to audit or understand and apply what AI is creating, the output that might come out of this can be, first of all, not useful for the specific use case. That is one. Second is it can be full of bugs. So though we say AI, there is always another jargon that's going around. You must have heard of it called HAI, which is human AI. So there has to be, at least as of today, a human element combined along with AI. Okay, so we cannot totally remove AI, and that's why all the AI companies have always put a disclaimer very prominently on all their public facing screens that this can be wrong, kindly cross check and all that, because there is always a need for auditing the system. So at least as of today, though AI augments the abilities of a human being, we cannot completely say that the human is removed from it. I would only say
Understood.
the overall
Understood.
output is increasing, results are increasing.
Yeah, and I totally agree because the AI can do a lot of stuff, but somebody needs to tell the AI what it needs to do. And then once the AI does that thing, then it needs to be applied to the business, to that particular use case to make it work, right?
Absolutely. I give you one more. Since
Yeah,
you mentioned it, can I tell you one more thing?
sure.
As of today, AI, is catching up with where humans are. Okay, the knowledge, intelligence, creativity, and all of that. So whatever we are teaching it, that is what it's learning. It's a large language model, or it's something that it is learning from where? From humans. Okay. However, today there's another thought process that's there, that what if AI is able to learn and create something which is not there out there, which is not, there is no data for it to learn from, but it itself is capable of learning from outside of the data that we provide. Now, if that happens, then yes, they can surpass what we have created as a benchmark for them. So that can happen. There are talks about that. So AI is in all directions.
Yeah,
We
yeah, yeah.
honestly don't
I
know which
know.
way it's going to go.
They're talking about the fact that by 2035, AI will learn everything which is there on internet. You know, at the rate at which AI is learning, it'll learn everything which is there. I mean, it's a lot of data out there in internet, right?
Absolutely.
It's a
Yeah,
huge repository of information.
absolutely.
But at the rate by which AI is going, it will possibly learn everything which is there out there in the internet by 2035, and then we don't know what will happen next.
Absolutely.
Because then the AI will be like a super brain, and it knows everything on this planet that we humans have ever created,
Yeah,
and that will be a shifting point,
yeah,
to see where we go from there. But coming back to the use case here on the customer support and the sales.
yeah, yeah,
So now, 5 years back, people like us, we used to train the CRM
yeah,
and the ITSM system and the service desk system like Zendesk and ServiceNow.
yeah,
Very manual, right? We used to create the workflow, train it, and under this condition, if a lead comes, if a customer inquiry comes, and if the inquiry is coming from this industry, or if the inquiry is coming from this kind of customer, or if the inquiry is coming from this kind of category. For example,
yeah,
if somebody is complaining, right, that my credit card, I need to block a credit card, right? That's
yeah,
a category. Right? Or somebody is inquiring that I want to buy a new credit card. That's another category.
yeah,
So based on these manual input that is coming up, we used to program. We used to
yeah,
create workflows. People like
correct,
us and the
correct.
developers, of course, and people like
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
We used to create workflow. And if this happens, it needs to go into that. It needs to be attached to this particular pipeline, customer pipeline, sales pipeline. Attach certain number of scores, and then give it to a human agent
yeah,
for the human to work on that, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, and there's a lot of work that used to happen,
yeah,
and most of it used to be programmed by human himself.
yeah,
Now, with this new setup, for example, if you have a Zendesk or a ServiceNow and for CRM, we have the data residing within the HubSpot. right?
Yeah.
Within the CRM. And we have the data residing within the Zendesk or the service desk, right?
Yeah.
Now, what we can do is now we can take that data,
Yeah.
right? For example, there is a new lead coming up or a new inquiry coming up. We
Correct.
can take that information,
Yeah.
call the Claude and the ChatGPT API, Open
Yeah.
API,
Yeah.
okay? And
Yeah.
then give the command,
Yeah.
okay, tune it,
Yeah.
give the prompts, give that so that it finds more information, right?
Absolutely.
Then we can call other APIs. For example, I want more company information. For example, this lead has come, this is the company. Now, based on this particular company information, I need more information about the company. How big is the company? How many people are working for it? Is it
Absolutely.
funded company? It is this.
Yeah.
Earlier, we used to do all those things manually. There used to be salespeople and sales enabler who used to do all these things manually, find out. But
Yeah.
now we can just call a few APIs,
Absolutely.
gather the data and push it back. We call it the data enrichment, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
push it
Absolutely.
back into the CR in real time. And
Correct.
it can be more than that. In a
Absolutely.
sense, it can also find the data which is not related,
Absolutely.
right? So can we talk a little bit about, this calling of the APIs?
Yeah.
I'm just limiting it,
Yeah.
our discussion to calling the APIs, not putting the
Yeah.
entire LLMs on a separate server, and that's a different discussion altogether. If you want to talk
Yeah.
about it, do that
Sure.
do that as well. But can we talk a little bit technical here?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Since you brought up one use case of getting an inquiry and finding more information about that through an API call, similar application, I'll say, let's say we get an inquiry from a company. Imagine the system populates another 10 companies with a similar background, same turnover, similar industry, similar stage of business, with
Lovely.
their decision makers' names and also numbers
Wow,
populated automatically as a prospect list. Now, that is what we are doing for one of our clients.
that's incredible.
Yeah. And
Let's talk more about that.
yeah, yeah. But again, see, I should humble myself. It's nothing genius that we are doing because, as you said rightly, it's API calls with service providers like whatever AI models are there who are actually enabling it. We are just, I would say, trying to find value, the right value for our client.
That's
So
right. That's
honestly, the heavy lifting is being done by other organizations. We are just trying to integrate all of them to see how our clients can benefit the most and grow their business. Yeah,
absolutely. No, I think that the data is out there,
absolutely.
right? And whoever has the ability to connect the API and pay the money for the data, they can get
Yeah,
it. I mean, I think this is a democratization of
yeah,
data. Finally.
absolutely.
Because earlier the data used to reside with large enterprises, okay,
Correct.
behind the closed doors of Zoom Infos and Cognizants and Clearbits. But
Yeah,
now it is just freely available.
okay.
Anybody who has an N10 and ability to understand and write code, and you can use ChatGPT to do that.
Absolutely.
Basically, has access to that particular data which was not accessible. I remember paying anywhere between $20,000 to $50,000 for a Zoom Info instance, 10 years back.
Wow. Wow.
$50,000. And for
Wow.
$20,000, they used to give us 5,000 data points. 5,000.
Okay. Okay.
So for each data, each lead, that too a
Yeah.
cold lead I'm talking, we used to pay
Uh,
$4.
wow.
And now I think you pay 0.04 cents for the same data, right? So now there is a democratization of data out there.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
just for large enterprises with very deep pocket who can access that
Absolutely.
particular. Anybody in the world now can access
Correct.
to those data. It's up to our own ingenuity and our own creativity to determine how we are going to use this data for a particular
Absolutely.
use case. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can
Correct.
we can we talk a little bit more on the customer service use case, that you
Yeah.
might have come across, you want to share, Thomas?
Yeah. Yeah. So see, in customer service, I will talk generic, not about any solution that we have created, and how it can reduce the response times, how it can increase, customer delight. So imagine a scenario a few years back, where when you try to get in touch with the customer service, the first one is they're available only during working hours,
Yeah,
okay, and not available during weekends. So that is in itself a first put off. You know, when you're relying on a service or a product that has to be used 24/7, but you don't have customer service addressing your challenges in non-working hours or during weekends. That's the first disappointment that a client gets. That's completely removed now. Okay. So the first level of troubleshooting or the first level of response can be extremely well managed by an AI with proper compassion, with proper data available, and with a very good, I would say, hit rate of providing actual solution. And the AI, if at all is not able to provide a solution, is smart enough to either connect with a real human or apologize and say that I have taken your request. It's as a ticket. You'll get an automated ticket. We will get back to you. My superiors will look at it or get back to you. So the AI is now capable of doing all of this.
Yeah. I mean, I remember calling the customer service and getting a message, hey, our customer service is active between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Absolutely,
So
yeah,
please call the next working day. This
absolutely.
is a huge upgrade from that message, right?
Exactly, exactly, yeah. So, and not only that, even during the working time, let's say from 10 to 5, when there is a team of actual humans sitting there and taking up some complex tasks of helping clients, AI can still be the first, the filter or the first, I would say, the forefront team. Because I would say around 80% of queries can be solved by AI. 20% which is new, which the AI does not have data to solve, it can very, very, with a lot of empathy, pass it on to the team, the human. So the actual human team that used to be for customer service can come down by 80% because the AI takes care of all the heavy lifting at the starting, and only critical tasks which AI is not able to solve, the human solves. And again, imagine what happens with this new data. AI is trained, so the next time a similar request comes, AI knows what to do.
Yes,
So as
yes.
days go by, AI, the service AI that is there is becoming better and better and better. So the team who solves in as a human being reduces. You don't need a set of team members to actually answer to the client.
Yes, I mean, in fact, this has now become a number one requested features by most of the customers who are using AI as a customer service. So
Absolutely.
now, because we are working with a couple of AI voice agent companies, one is there in Dubai, one is there in US. They are working both in healthcare sector.
Yeah,
Uh, so for them, the number one feature request that is coming from customer is that they want the AI to listen to the actual conversation of the customer agent and the customer so that the AI can learn and next time can answer the similar question as to what the human agents are given. So now
absolutely.
AI is not just answering the query, but AI is also listening to the
It's
conversation in
learning.
real
It's
time,
learning. It's
learning
learning.
in real time. Next time, that same question comes, then AI can immediately go ahead and
Yeah.
answer. So
AI knows
I think
what
that
you
is
want.
what we're talking about, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I mean, this is incredible. Imagine a customer service, answering a question two, three times, then AI understands that, for this question, this is the answer. And
Yeah,
next time the human agent doesn't need to, work on that.
absolutely.
There is another very important use case that typically that is coming to us and our customers is using AI to book the calls, just to book. Somebody calls up, say for example, they want to call up the doctor and they want an appointment. So
Yeah,
instead of doctor having a physical agent on
yeah,
the help desk scheduling the appointment, which is a pretty straightforward job. Right?
correct.
Hey, doctor will be available tomorrow between 11 to 2, let me book your appointment, right?
Yeah,
Typically, the human beings used to do that.
do
I
all
mean,
of that.
now there's a lot of requests, especially in Western countries,
Yeah,
for this simple task of scheduling the call, the first
ab-
level of support, right?
absolutely,
How is that
absolutely.
going to affect overall, in your opinion, the whole customer service industry?
See, if it were a few years back when AI was not that human, today AI is becoming more human. The voice, the synthesis, the text, the generative AI. It's becoming more and more human, and we are quite comfortable to interact with AI. Okay, all the models that are out there. So when we start interacting with them, even I mean, I started using a couple of years back. The experience from then to now itself is I'm quite comfortable. It's almost as if I'm speaking to a human being. Uh, so in terms of acceptability, I mean, rather, the clients accepting that yes, this is an AI talking to me, but I'm comfortable with it because I know AI can make mistakes, but I think it's even humans can make mistakes. Okay, so
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
so the acceptance that AI can give me service is increasing, and I think a lot of people have started accepting it. So I
Yeah.
think that's how the norms are going to go forward. Yeah.
Perfect. So let's jump into some technical queries here. What is your favorite LLM right now? Especially when it comes to voice and customer service and stuff like those. I think recently Gemini has been competing a lot.
Yes. Yes.
Claude has been doing well. ChatGPT is a little expensive, people are saying,
Yes.
and Llama is picking up very fast. So what's your technical take on so many different options available?
Yeah.
DeepSeek became a big thing in between. What's your take on these different providers and which one to use, which one not to use, which one is good for
Yeah.
certain use cases? If you can shed some light based on your experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not sure what will be the repercussions of my taking names and giving comparisons and weightage and all that. But anyway, based on my experience, my opinion, I am the ruler of my opinion, so I can tell that. So what we do internally is we have all the AIs listed out. Like we have Quen, we have Grok. I'm just saying a couple of things that you have not mentioned. Okay. So we've got
Sure.
everything, ChatGPT, Claude, everything, Llama, whatever we've listed out. And when it comes to coding, um, I I personally go to ChatGPT. My team members, they use Lovable or they use another one called Bolt. And when it comes to technical documentation or understanding tech a little, I go towards Claude. Um, and one thing that I've seen DeepSeek, I mean, now today, of course, it might not be the same, but when it was launched and when it became very popular a few months back, I could see certain responses in DeepSeek which was comparable to what ChatGPT was able to give, certain of them. And then later on, I found it was not, certain, it was not able to give good answers. Um, and Grok has been extremely good when they made their premium version accessible to everybody. Few months back, they allowed their premium version accessible to everybody. That has been quite exceptional in certain use cases where, for example, uh, I'll just give the use case that I used. Okay, we built a software for BNI. BNI is Business Networks International,
Mhm.
and I was asked to prepare a complete features list to show that I can share it with one of the franchisees of BNI. Now, if I have to prepare the document, I'll have to either tell one of my team members to go and select each menu item and make the features and write about it, and so that we can present it to the new person. So I just thought, why should I do that? First thing that I did is I took screenshots of all the menu and I gave it to all the AI and said, take these screenshots. These are the menu items that are there in the software. I want you to prepare the entire features list with the explanation of what it is.
Wow.
It was a little tough. It didn't come out really well. Okay. Then what I did is I went and copied the code of the menu bar code. Okay, the navigation bar code. I took the code and put it into the AIs and said, you develop it. Grok did the best job.
Grok
They
did the
were
best
able
job.
to, yeah. So I mean, one off, so different. I tried few of them, and then some of them are really good. Some of them, struggle. I use Notebook LM really well. Like when I get a tender document with about 100 pages, Notebook LM solves my, saves my day. So I am able to ask questions. I'm able to summarize. I'm able to, um, I mean, something that would take me hours together, I'm able to get the results in minutes, or in seconds. So different applications, I would say, for different purposes. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So, I mean, this is this as we speak, things are changing, and
Yeah.
I was just going through a list of all the new LLMs that has come up in last 3 months, and the list was pretty long.
Okay. Okay.
What do you think is going to happen over the time?
Uh,
Are these giant conglomerate, these big ones, are they going to just take over the smaller ones, or the smaller ones are going to just die away? What do you think is going to happen in the next 1 to 2 years?
Okay, I'll answer that in two ways. One, I was really waiting for someone to ask me this question, so I'll answer. So, I'll answer, as I said, I'll answer a little different question, then I'll come back to specific answer, okay, that you're asking. So the first one is the beauty that's happening these days, okay? First thing is quantum computing. Okay, so the power of computing is exponentially growing to a very high exponential growth. Okay, not in the way that the previous law and all Murphy's law and all was telling. Okay, it's in a very exponential way. So quantum computing, AI, with all of this, whatever LLMs and all the models that are coming up. Third one is there is also technology now with batteries and cells which can last for decades together. One cell can last for decades together. There are, I mean, they use this nuclear power, a very small element of it, and they're able to create a cell which can last for decades. Now imagine if you combine all these three. Okay, so what will come out is a cyborg or a humanoid or a robot that does not need charge, that can think with quantum computing and has AGI or AI, that is artificial general intelligence or AI. Imagine what that particular robot or the machine is going
Entity,
to do.
yeah,
Yeah, so this is one way to answer what is going to happen. I was really thinking of, combining these three elements and telling you. So I'm so excited when I think of those days. Of course, also there is another side of, I mean, the good side of it is, you have a maid at home, okay, that does not need charge and does every work, okay, or a worker who fixes everything in the society and does not need any payment. I mean, you can think of multiple use cases. A labor in a factory who does not need any charge. So all of these use cases. Okay, now coming to your question, what will happen to different companies? One thing that we have seen happening in tech space is no matter how big a company is, there is always a smaller company who props up from somewhere who thought very uniquely uh, something totally different that nobody else has thought of, and that catches up like wildfire, and then that becomes a huge. So I don't think, yeah, small companies may go, but there's always another small company just waiting to become big. That's what we are seeing again and again,
that's
again
right.
and again, in the tech industry. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Mm.
Is it, in terms of Indian companies, and I'm going to talk from the Indian context, what's your take? Are Indian companies embracing AI at the rate at which the international companies are? Uh, are we lagging behind? Are we ahead in the curve? What's your take on that in terms of, implementing AI-based application and use cases and solution to run their own businesses?
Yeah. See, in India I would say is not far behind or anything. In fact, the use case that I started with is for an Indian company who's got international operations. They have another office in Singapore. So um, the clients in India, where you have one of the largest IT professionals, at least it's, I would say, the breeding ground of IT professionals. It's not far behind. True that most of the LLMs and all of that are being created. AI companies are sprouting in other parts of the world. However, now I was following some news that government was requesting certain companies to provide their data so that we can create our own LLM in the country. So it is happening, and I also heard one of the very leading IT thought leader of India saying that I think we should not really create LLMs. Instead, we should create the value or the use cases and use the open model LLMs that are available. So the different thoughts. Um, on how to do it, and but people are catching up, I would say. Companies are realizing how much AI can help an organization, how much it can help to increase efficiency. People are catching up. Yes, it's a long way to go, but yes, there's a lot of adaptability in India.
So India is not lagging behind, right?
I
In
mean,
terms
not
of
too far. I
implementing.
mean, it's very open. I would say, for
Okay,
example, UPI payment, I believe India was a pioneer, or
that's right.
yeah, India, literally took it up. So something like that. I mean, definitely
Yes,
can do, but
perfect. And one final question, do you think India will come up with its own LLMs,
yeah,
which can
definitely.
compete with this global giant, the way Chinese companies
Okay,
are coming up? Is that going
okay,
to happen in near future?
okay. So when you started off the question, my answer was yes. But then when the moment you brought in compete clause, see, I'm sure there will be some uniqueness to it, which will probably solve certain unique factors. Uh, I mean, each LLM has got different benchmarks that they rate themselves in. Suddenly, Gemini comes up with something and it surpasses everything. So it is always a game of going up and down and one competing with the other. But there'll be specific models. I'm sure probably the LLM that India would create would be better. Certain ones that cloud has will be better. Certain ones that uh, ChatGPT has will be better. So I would not
So
say
so so
overall, yeah,
so the ocean is big and there'll be a lot of fishes, is
definitely,
what your take is. So there'll be room for a lot of big and small fish
definitely,
to
yeah,
live and thrive in this huge ocean of new opportunities, right?
absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
Any final take you want to give, Thomas,
yeah,
with respect to?
yeah. I mean, I think we've been hearing this a lot, but still, there's nothing wrong repeating it. I think we should not get scared with AI. We should embrace it. We should use it for making lives better. Even companies like us, some of the companies, they think what's going to happen if AI is going to create all the software, all the code. But we are seeing so much of application, so much of benefit that we are able to give to our clients, which probably we couldn't have given 2 years back. In fact, my senior developers, they are so excited, to use AI while coding, but the junior developers are struggling. Now, this is a contrast that we saw. I mean, that's where I told in one of my comments earlier that until and unless the coder himself is an expert who knows what is going on, when AI ends up generating thousands of lines of code, if the individual is not a smart guy who knows everything, this whole thing that the AI generates can become crap. You will not even end up, you'll not be able to use it.
That's right.
So AI is very powerful as an augmentation tool, I would say, to a human, to make a human superhuman with another superhuman kind of an intelligence. So we should embrace it. We should use it for a brighter future, brighter use cases, and create more valuable solutions to the client. Yeah.
All right. I mean, this is such an interesting discussion, that it can just go on and on. But it's always a pleasure to hear from somebody who has been there in the industry for more than 20, 25 years,
Thank you.
right? You have seen the beginning of the internet, the beginning of the web, the beginning of the app, the
Yeah.
SaaS, the Web3, and now the beginning of AI, right? I think
Absolutely.
you in that way you have lived 4 generations. In the age of internet, I think you have lived 4 generations, right?
Yeah, but I'm humbled always. Every day I wake up and I see something new happening. I think, my God, another thing to catch up with. So I'm humbled every day with the kind of progress that happening in the tech world. So, yeah,
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. I think people like you and your opinion will matter a lot in the coming days in terms of shaping our direction, in terms of how India, we as a people, progress with this new opportunity which has come up. Thank you so much, Thomas, for your time. This is a
thank
lovely
you.
discussion. We are going to release this. I'm pretty sure that everybody who's going to watch this video once it is released is going to add a lot of value. All right.
Thank you. I should thank you more than anything because I've known you for quite some time. Your advice, as I told earlier, has been very helpful for me. And I really feel privileged that you have given me this opportunity to come and speak on this podcast. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I just saw a little heart from Bhushan. Thank you so much, Bhushan. Thanks, Akash. Thanks, Subhashis. We have a few friends here. Thanks for joining in. If you have any questions, just drop it, or else, we'll just wrap it up. I think we had a wonderful session. And every Thursday, we're going to meet here again. And I'm going to personally invite you for more such sessions.